Hello and welcome to my channel guys, Learn French with Kunal. So today we will learn about articles. So articles are of two types. First one is definite and second one is indefinite. So in French we call it les articles définis. So they are le, la, les. So le is for masculine singular, la is for feminine singular, les is for plural. So this in English is equivalent to the. So in this I know clearly whom the thing belongs to, the. Okay, and then comes indefinite articles. So there are also three types, three categories into it. A for masculine singular, une for feminine singular, and they for plural. So this in English is equivalent to a, or a we call it. So just broadly, first one with article défini, we know whom the thing belongs to. So just to give you a brief history, in French we tend to use articles before every single noun, unless there are some exceptions where we don't use articles, but other than that we have to say. So in English there is a term we call it. Okay, so car, it. So guys, in French there is no it. Everything, whether it's living or non-living, we have to generalize them as feminine or masculine or plural, and we have to add that article before that specific noun. We call it le nom en français. So here we have an example. First of all, we have definite articles le, la, les, and then the example we have here is le livre est sur la table. So in this sentence you see there are two nouns. First one is le livre, okay, and second one is la table. So since livre is masculine, le livre, and table is feminine, so that is la table. So we have le livre because livre is masculine, and la table because table is feminine in French. So the English translation of this sentence is the book, le livre, is, so it's the verb être here, sur la table. Okay, the book is on the table. So you see the book, definite article, table, definite article, the table. So that's the English translation of this sentence. Now comes les articles indéfinis, indefinite articles. So like I said, it's used, English equivalent is a in English, or an, or some. Okay, so when we don't know whom the thing belongs to in a general sense. So example in this case, here I have j'ai un livre. So you see here un is un livre, I call it because the noun is masculine. Okay, and then une pomme. So here also the noun is feminine. So un livre, une pomme. So when I translate that sentence, so I would say I have a book and an apple. Okay. Now, when do we tend to use L apostrophe? So we use L apostrophe when the noun starts with a vowel or H silent. So in this case, l'ami is starting with a vowel. So before that we cannot use le or la. Just for your information guys, l'ami is masculine, and if I had extra e here after that, then it would have been feminine. So l'ami. Okay, now it's masculine, l'ami et l'ami arrive. So next example we have, this one is feminine, l'ami et l'ami arrive. The male friend and female friend are arriving. Okay, Next comes they. So that's the case of plural definite indefinite articles like some in French. Il y a des livres sur l'étagère. Okay, so there are some books on the shelf. L'étagère is a bookshelf. So if I were to say the same sentence with indefinite articles, I would just simply replace this. I would say il y a des livres sur une étagère. So since here we are using definite articles, I'm using L apostrophe. But if I were to use indefinite articles, I would say il y a des livres sur une étagère. Now let's just practice. So we'll go to my website here and then we will see what can we do to practice. So first of all, we'll just look at fill-ups. So there is not any rocket science into it. We have just to cram these. So we have to see, we know that maison is feminine, so it's la maison. Book is masculine, so le livre. And l'ami, you have to start with the L apostrophe, because it starts with a vowel. Same l'ami here. And enfants, children, plural, so les enfants. Ou bien des enfants. And then you can just check it, all your work. So just for practicing, guys, you have to learn them by heart. Now, it's the same way we have multiple choice questions where you can practice. You can see what's the gender of house, maison in French we call it, gender of livre, something that you have to learn just to practice. And once you are done with this, you are now able to start with the French quiz with AI, where you will practice with live sentences to practice about articles. So here, c'est un livre. Okay, c'est un livre. We have to say here what will come here. C'est un livre. Now, what is this? C'est une pomme. Il mange des bananes. So since it's plural, they should come here. Les bananes. Now, so here both can come. Un garçon or le garçon. I'm gonna go with le. Garçon est grand. La fille est petite. Since fille is feminine. L'école, because it starts with a vowel. L'école est belle. Les chiens sont noirs. Dogs are black. Tu as un stylo, because stylo is masculine, so I will come here because it's just generalizing. We're just generalizing the concept. We have a pen, tu as un stylo. Now, elle regarde une maison. She can look at any house. But if I were to say la maison, that's good also. That's totally fine. Both are right. Nous avons l'eau. So here, nous buvons. Technically here it should come the l'eau, but since we don't have that option, because we have boire, we drink some water, and we will tend to use partitives. We use partitives here, but anyway, since we don't have that, we'll go with that. Nous buvons l'eau. And let's check. So elle regarde la maison, but if I were to say une maison, that's totally fine. If we are specific about which home she's looking at, so then we can say la, but if we don't know which home she looks at and home belongs to whom, so une is totally fine. Okay, the basic thing, once again I repeat, we use definite articles le, la, le for things we know whom the possessor is, and we use indefinite articles a, une, they for those things whom we don't know the possessor is. If you like my content, do follow and share it with your friends so that they can also learn more about articles. Thanks for watching.